pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for joining with us to celebrate our tenured employees that we celebrated at 5:30. We'll go on with the rest of our meeting now with 3, routine business. This is number 3.9. Do I have a motion to approve, acknowledge, and/or accept the routine business items as submitted? Motion by Ms. Chilbert, second by Ms. Melnick. Any discussion? Ms. Geider?
Just a quick question, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Mr. Chapman, but I think I remember you saying something, but I just wanted to clarify. Regarding the donations and things like that, the gifts, I think, did you mention that we're trying to make sure that we get ahead of those, like, being approved before they're actually being used?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? All hands are raised, thank you. And just want to recognize Liverpool Foundation for donating the lawn games that are now in that center courtyard right outside the cafeteria. They, when Stacy and I went in to meet with the student liaisons, we went down the hall and we're kind of looking through the windows at the students who were enjoying themselves, and it was nice to see everyone off their cell phones and just enjoying each other's company. Also, thank you to Lockheed Martin for their donation of equipment in the amount of $15,000, 3D printers and equipment for pre-apprenticeship and design and drawing for production classes. Also, Campus Construction, who is going to be having a coffee truck outside on October 3rd for Liverpool High School. So we appreciate all of those folks. 4.1, President's Report. Thank you to all of you who responded to the Google form asking for feedback on a number of different things. I talked to most of you, and I asked if it was okay if I shared that feedback with Mr. Chapman. If you have a concern about that, please let me know. If not, I'll pass that on to him, and we'll use that in discussions moving forward. There was not really a consensus over how often to have construction updates. So if you have any more comments on that, if you could send that in. If you probably saw, there was kind of a wide distribution of the different choices on there. I'm so excited that we brought back our building liaisons and some of our committee initiatives, different assignments. I got a chance to stop into Liverpool Elementary last week, 2 weeks ago, and Long Branch Elementary last week. And it's just exciting to see the schools in progress. And I always try to say to myself, is this a school where I would want my children to go every single day and learn? And it was encouraging to come back with the response, yes, I would, absolutely. These are great schools, and because of the people. There are some new initiatives this year that I asked for people to put out their interest in, and one of them was legislative initiative or legislative task force. As Mr. Jones had expressed significant interest in it, I asked if he would lead that group and put together kind of a plan for that for the future. He submitted something on Friday, and so hopefully if you don't have any objections, I'll pass that on to all of you, and then we'll have a discussion at the next meeting. And I would hope to have kind of an approval vote so that it's actually a, we're chartering the group to be into creation. There's a couple other ones, alternative revenues, and some others that we'll be working on getting together. Just a note that the Board of Regents, for the first time in several decades, is going to be coming to Syracuse. for the first time in several decades, is leaving Albany. Can you imagine? And they are coming to Syracuse the first week of October. I believe they arrive the 5th, and they'll be here through the 7th. So there are some different events going on, so keep an eye out in your email for things regarding that. So I think that's all for tonight. I'll pass it on to Mr. Chapman for Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Just to follow up a little more about the school board liaisons, just wanted to thank the school board members that are getting into the buildings and visiting the teachers, the principals, and the students. It does mean a great deal to us. We're still off to a very smooth start. The PD is kicking off. Like, I guess it really never ended in some cases, but it's picking back up. I know there's some data meetings tomorrow taking place. We have a very fortunate, I feel, that Brian Kessel here to share a strategic planning presentation with us. I'm looking forward to moving forward with that process through the school year. Attended a really nice event this afternoon. Mr. Jones, you were there as well. The Liverpool Library had their mobile library. Miss Ziegler was also there. I should mention that, but had their mobile library ribbon cutting. And what an outstanding resource our library is, and they just really want to partner with our district and offer anything they possibly can to support our students and our staff. So we're just very fortunate to have that at our fingertips. And then really the last thing, we have homecoming this Friday. Fayetteville Manlius, I think, is our opponent. It should be a good game. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chapman. Any questions for Mr. Chapman? No? Okay. 4.3, Student Liaison Report. It was wonderful to see you both last week, and I'll turn it over to you for your report.
Yeah, thank you. It was honestly really fun to just get to know the board, just talk to them. So for our report, we just want to start by saying that clubs and extracurriculars are starting to begin at the high school. It's getting really busy after school. Sports have been going on for a while, but clubs and activities are starting. Class codes and how to get to the actual club are being posted on Google Classrooms and hallways and the bulletin boards and around the building and promoted by the pool filter and the lifeguard. Yeah.
And we have a couple events that we are looking forward to in this upcoming week at the high school, including Financial Aid Night, which is this Thursday, the 24th. And we also have homecoming. The football game is at 6:30 this Friday night, and then the dance will follow from 8 to 11.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the marching band who just keep amazing me. They're doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And they have been placing first for 4 times, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've lost count because they're absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, they have a home show coming up this next week, Saturday, I'm pretty sure, on the 4th of October.
And we have many students at the high school who are choosing to eat lunch outside. During lunch, students are able to play cornhole and Connect 4 in the new courtyard. Some students who sit outside also played card games like Uno or Go Fish. And as you mentioned, Mr. Blaney, it has been a very nice change so far this year to see students interact with each other in this way without the distractions of phones and social media, especially during lunch.
Thank you very much. And do you mind sharing what you were saying about not having cell phones has brought to light certain things like not having watches, right? And clocks.
Yeah, so I brought that up. I've been starting to carry a wristwatch because I cannot really tell the time anymore unless I'm in a classroom. So I was encouraging getting clocks for around the building and the busy spots, especially the auditorium commons, the office area. So just those places, having a clock can be helpful because the bell in the morning especially goes off at minute 35, so 5 minutes before classes start, which sounds like a lot unless you're trying to walk up the stairs with crowd. So, it would be very helpful to have watches, clocks around the building. Yeah.
Thank you. And see, those are the types of things that we don't know about unless we have our student liaisons talking with us. So kind of reminds me of my job over the summer. I would tell kids it's 1 minute before curfew, and all of a sudden they'd go screaming, running to their rooms. So thank you. And any questions for our student liaisons? Ms. Brissette?
Is there any talks about having a club fair?
I will pass that to Ms. O'Brien. She knows more than I could tell you.
Yes, Ms. Brissette, the club fair is on the calendar for October 15th. Details to be announced.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am so excited for this club fair. I've been advocating for it for like 4 years now. I've been trying to I've been proposing different ways we could go about it. So I'm actually really excited.
You and Mrs. Brissette are kindred spirits then.
She's looking for a new club.
Mr. Jones.
I just wanted to, I was hoping that either or both of you could expand just a little bit more on your experience with the new cell phone policy. Like what are some other things other than the clocks that you're noticing? Do you feel like students are communicating more? Like what are you seeing?
I definitely feel like students are more present throughout the day. Academically, I feel like everyone is seeming to do better. They're more focused. They're not checking their phones every period in between periods. Hallways are moving faster. Students aren't stuck in their phones. The social aspect is great as well. Like I said, the games at lunch, it's been great to see everyone socializing with each other without the distractions of social media and those notifications. I think overall it's been a very, very positive, it's been a positive change for the students.
Just to quickly add on to that, I've spoken to a few teachers and they've said that it's definitely a positive impact. I mean, students may not love it, but overall I can see it having a very positive impact on our school.
And then just a quick, first of all, thank you. So Brian, how are we doing? Are we noticing like less drama going on, or how's it looking?
Yeah, definitely less drama because Snapchat's not available during the day. And so that's a positive. I will be curious to see our data. I was taking a look today. Right now, some of our discipline data is looking similar to where we were at last September. At the beginning of the year, things are always starting up, right? And then we start to level out. But I am seeing exactly what the students have reported, and the teachers are telling us the same things. Like we used to have minute-long traffic jams in the hallways. Students are moving from one point to another. They're looking at each other. They're saying hello to their teachers, to their friends. So it's been really positive. And also the morning traffic and the afternoon traffic for locking and unlocking basically doesn't exist. I mean, it's moving quickly, and so students are getting used to it. Staff are getting used to it. We're doing pretty well. We're very grateful for the purchase of those pouches. So thank you.
Well, thank you all for pulling this off, and I mean, talk about a monumental undertaking, and it seems like they're doing a great job, and so are the students. So thank you all for making this happen.
Ms. Geider.
Just a quick follow-up for student liaisons or Ms. O'Brien. I think it's a phenomenal donation from the foundation. I've heard a lot of talks from friends, kids, and things about how much they're enjoying lunchtime with all of those things to do. Obviously, being in Syracuse, our winter becomes very long, and that's not going to be available for much longer. Have there been any talks about things that could be implemented indoors potentially to keep that great socialization happening and those opportunities for kids that maybe don't feel comfortable just jumping into a conversation or sitting at a lunch table?
I've had this thought before because we have really long winters here. So I haven't discussed this with Ms. O'Brien yet, but I definitely think we could probably move like the Connect 4 game inside. I don't know much about cornhole with people throwing the beanbags, but I don't know. But definitely with like the Connect 4, they can go inside. I see a lot of like Uno and cards going around. I see so many decks. I see digital cameras and MP3 players and iPods. So I think it's definitely something that we can just like move inside during the winter times, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's absolutely something that we're going to consider and talk about, whether we purchase or request the purchase of some board games, decks of cards. I could definitely see us bringing Connect 4 inside, and we're open to ideas. This idea actually came to us from a student and their parent during the 9th grade orientation. So we're open to ideas and feedback and absolutely looking to bring something inside for the winter.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. I was just curious if it was something, obviously lots of ideas to put out there and time to do it, but that's great. I think it's all wonderful. Thank you for the update.
We may have a little bit more space too, I think, probably going into the next semester than we have right now. So that's great. Any other questions for our student liaisons? Thank you so much. You're both great. And I just wanted to say on our meeting that we had, Stacy, myself, and Rick, I talked a little bit with our liaisons. I asked them about their reasons for wanting to be in the position and some of their aspirations and maybe a longer term goal for the position. But I made it clear that we want them to be completely uncensored in what they bring to us, so that they feel comfortable talking with us about anything that's a concern, and that they know that we truly appreciate their candor. Okay, moving on to 4.4, committee reports. We have one committee report, Safety Committee. Mrs. Brissett, Ms. Melnick. Do you mind leading, Ms. Brissett?
No problem.
Thank you.
I'll try to make it quick. It was a long one. Our OCM BOCE's new safety officer is Paul Smith. He's been working since July 1st, I believe, and working on the emergency response plan. I just want to say it's important to note that when, say, Mrs. Dawson is giving out or doing a presentation for the safety committee or the safety plan, not everything is for public consumption. So if board members have questions and she's not able to answer publicly, she can afterwards. So I just wanted to note that. Our lead drinking water testing is being conducted now that the students are back in school. District safety updates. Students are not allowed to wear hoodies. I think that's one of our policies, and it's been going well. It's hard to identify who they are in the building, in the cameras when they're wearing hoodies. So thank you to the students that are following the policy. That's wonderful. Phone policy, again, we just discussed that. It's going great. Ms. Berlinski, which is our head of the director of our safety, hold on, I'm trying to find here, is working with a CTE student with a drone program for drone mapping. And basically what they're doing is they're gathering the information, the building layouts through the drone program, and they're trying to map out everything and also pinpoint where buildings and neighbors and homes have cameras. So in case, say, for example, a student goes missing, then they're able to, pinpoint and maybe knock on doors and say, hey, did your camera pick up so-and-so? So that's helpful. Tip 411 has started. They've received some calls already. It is only during school hours, which is probably between 7 and 4. For right now, they are working on the app. I'm not sure when the app is going to be up and running. Ms. Dawson, do you have any idea? Okay, still working on that. So that's great. That's being monitored. Our Centigic, how do you say that card? Centigic. Okay, so that is that wearable key card that we discussed last spring. That is waiting for a grant. We should know in a couple weeks if we get it or not. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get that. Let's see, the Wetzel Road. Wetzel Road was not worked on this summer. They focused more on the stadium, the vestibule, the kitchen, cafeteria. The cafeteria is still going to be worked on through the holidays, and hopefully they can open the kitchen back up sometime in January. Wetzel Road Phase C, which is the high school stacks, softball and baseball fields are being done over 3 consecutive summers, so it's going to take a while for that. That's not going to be done overnight. It's a lot of work there. The beautification project for Phase A has been approved by New York State. The team is working on potential bid dates. Phase A involves work at Willowfield, Elmcrest, and a little work at Morgan Road. Phase B will be DDE, Long Branch, some transportation. Phase B is also currently in the design development and looking to submit to state ed early January. The capital overlay project, they did the carpets in the high school and the library, some shelving and painting. And what else we have here? Our injury report. We had about 36 documented injuries in the special ed department. They are working on getting the accessories and training to reduce those injuries. So that's great. And then that's about it. Our next meeting is in November. Did I miss anything?
Ms. Melnick, anything to add? No? Okay.
Oh, the hoods can't be up. Yeah, you can wear hoodies. I shouldn't, yeah, we should rephrase that, because we'll get calls tomorrow. You can wear your hoodie, you can't wear the hood, so, thank you, yeah. You can wear hoodies.
Ms. Geider?
Really quick, the 36 injuries, is that just this school year or was that the previous? Okay.
Mr. Jones, question?
Maybe I may have misheard you. You said the cafeteria update, you said at Wetzel, that's the high school, right? Or do you mean,
No, there's,
was there an update on the cafeteria progress?
yes, they are working on that. They're gonna continue doing the floors and some lighting and electrical through the holidays. And then hopefully open sometime in January if all goes well.
So it was originally sometime in the fall, right? And then it was pushed back?
Behind, yep.
Okay. Just because I keep getting asked about that and I don't know what to tell
Welcome to
people.
construction.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Thanks.
And we'll be having a construction update at the next meeting. And so that's a good kind of introduction to that. Any other questions? Mr. McKeever?
So this is something that maybe we could put on the radar for the construction update for the next meeting. This is going to be half remembered on my part, but Ms. Brissette prompted it with talking about the baseball and softball fields. I raised the issue at some point last spring about the fact that there's not an accessible walking path over by the softball field on Morgan Road. And I think the answer I got, and this is 12 administrators ago, but the answer I got was something like, we can move that portion of the project up in the timeline without having to get new approval from state ed or rebid any of the work, but basically we can shuffle some pieces around in the timeline to get that footpath done sooner. Is that something we could put on to ask them about when they're here next time?
Yeah, you can ask them anything you want. Yeah,
Fair enough,
absolutely.
yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe they'll have the answer rather than, yeah, thank you.
Is that the footpath to the fields that are going to be worked on?
The footpath or lack thereof currently. Right now,
Okay,
there's
yeah.
nothing.
Okay, anyone else? Ms. Brissette?
I have a question that just popped up. When they're working on these fields, are we going to be in a different location so they can still practice? I mean, do you have any idea? Or is this for?
Let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
please.
wondered, it just, it's 3 consecutive
Yeah.
summers. I know they're doing the stacks in the field, but I just wondered where we're gonna place
I
them.
think we'll have enough space to rotate them around the
Okay.
teams, but let me find out if I know exactly where they're going to be for you.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? No, thank you very much, Ms. Brissette. Next, we have number 4.5, strategic planning process. We are very happy to welcome Mr. Brian Kessel, who is here. He's a strategic planning facilitator with OCM BOCES. He is a longtime veteran educator, and so we're very happy to have him. I sent some notes to you a little bit about this. You should have a presentation in board docs. And I'll leave it to Mr. Chapman if you want to say anything else to introduce.
No, I think we're very fortunate to have Brian join us. I'm familiar with Brian from our time together in West Genesee, and he's going to be outstanding at this. I think his approach is going to go a long way with our staff. It's friendly, it's collaborative, and as we work through this process, I think it'll have an outstanding project because of it. So, Brian, it's all you.
Thanks, Rick. It's an honor to be with you today. As Rick mentioned, my name is Brian Kessel, and I am recently retired as 32 years at West Genesee, 16 as the assistant superintendent. I've also had an opportunity to work with OCM BOCES. Here with me tonight is OCM BOCES Assistant Superintendent Eric Comtois, so I'd like everybody to have a chance to get to see my boss too, so that we all know that we've got Eric's back with us when we're working on this year-long process for strategic planning. It's a process that I've been a part of for almost 30 years in different varying parts of my life, whether it was professionally or personally, but that's why it is what I've come to see as so beneficial to not only just have a plan, but an actionable plan. So that's kind of what we'll try to work our way through. So I'm in Last year, when BOCES gave me a shout and asked me if I'd be willing to support a few districts, I was happy to step in. And last year, we completed a project in Fabius, and we are in midway through with Tully, and I'm very excited to begin the process here with you tonight at Liverpool. We use a professional learning community process. We firmly believe in voices being heard and consensus being reached. It's all about mission, vision, values, and goals, right? We have, not only does the Liverpool Central School District's mission, vision, and values come into play, but the team, when it gets together, will create its mission, visions, and values as well, so that we know that how we will operate together as a team. It needs to be clear. It needs to be aligned with not only community goals, but community values. And most importantly, it needs to be measurable. It's not something we want to just create and put on a shelf or make a nice pretty poster, right? We want people to be able to point to it and say, this is what Liverpool is, this is how Liverpool gets things done. So, Liverpool's had a strategic planning process for multiple years. The current plan runs through 2025. When Mr. Chapman gave me a shout and said, asked me about the opportunity to come work with the folks in Liverpool to bring the next iteration, absolutely, I'm ready. So like I already mentioned, we will make sure that whatever plan comes into play is aligned with what folks in Liverpool expect. It's vital, and Mr. Chapman made this very clear to me from the minute we started having this conversation, we need to involve as many voices as possible, okay? Students, staff, families, community members. We will do that process through surveys. We will do that process through multiple committees, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about what those committees will look like. Because we need to hear as many voices as possible, but also learn the process of consensus, right? So that we get to a point of, can I live with this? And then once we've decided we are going to live with something, we're going to be ready to run through a wall for it, right? So that's the process. That's what it would be very important as we build the team, that we all understand that we're in it together. Like I said, you want to make sure that the strategic plan is alive, right? We don't want it to be just something that sits on a shelf. Here's the roadmap. We'll get started real quick. I'll get to Mr. Chapman and the team, the administrative team. We'll start collecting names of folks that would be interested. We'll look to build a matrix of the different buildings, the different departments, the different community representatives, to make sure that we've got as many boxes checked as possible so that as many voices as possible from different stakeholder groups are in the room. We'll get a survey sent out. BOCES has one, so that's part of the process. We will push that out. The team will analyze that data. And then once we start analyzing that data, we will look for 2 to 4, typically, areas of growth that we could then set up goals, that we could then write goal statements. Here's the next step. This is a little bit different. Once the goal statements are written by the big team, the strategic planning team, we will then set up individual teams, action teams, for each of the goals. Because not only do you want stakeholders involved, but you also want some folks with expertise. So depending on what the goal might be, we might bring, let's say it's vertical alignment of curriculum. Well, you're going to want to make sure that you've got the Zieglers and the Dulcids in the room, right? To make sure that you've got things lined up, right? So you've got that, so you have that process. So each action team will then will take that goal statement, make sure that it's specific, make sure it's measurable, make sure it's actionable, make sure we know who's responsible for which step, and then time box it. When will those steps be accomplished? The action teams will report back to the big team. The big team will offer suggestions and feedback to take back to the action team to keep refining until we get this thing right. Then once we're good, I'll start working with Eric and the folks at BOCES and their communications team to graphically design a plan for you so that we do have that visual representation of a strategic plan. Then we come back to you in the spring, and hopefully we will present, and hopefully you'll take action on that plan so that come summer, we can start building some action plans that will then start making the whole plan come to life. That's the roadmap. Kinds of questions or comments have I created, or any feedback you'd like to give, I'm always open.
First of all, I'd like everyone to take note. That was a great presentation, great timing, right? Any questions? What's that? Questions? No? No one? It was great.
There will be two-way communication, just so you know this. Every time we have a meeting, there'll be an executive summary that I will write, send to Mr. Chapman, send to the board so that you know where we are in the process. The other piece, I'm a big fan of the Google. I will create for Liverpool a Google Drive and a Google site where all information will be public-facing. Survey results, action plans, all the slide decks, anything that we create in the team will be public-facing for your community. Okay, so I wanted to make sure you knew that. Communication will be constant and to the point where you're going to say, Brian, stop. Okay? Anything else, folks?
Great. Oh, Mr. Jones had a question?
So, what I think I'm hearing is that anyone in the community or in the schools, whether they're teachers or administrators, anyone who has an interest in being a part of this in terms of giving feedback or being on a committee, they will have that ability. Is that what I'm hearing, or?
So we have, Casey, help me out. I'm trying to think of the name of the committee you have started. Guiding Coalition. It's called different things in different districts, but our Guiding Coalition. On top of that, I've had some staff reach out, faculty and staff, saying that they might be interested in joining either strategic planning or the kind of looking at some of the changes that have taken place the last couple of years in the district. Some of the changes, so looking at some of the changes that have taken place the last couple of years may actually fall right under the strategic planning piece. So it's not like a free-for-all where anyone in the community can join, but we're looking and we'll actively tap people. And if someone's interested, I encourage them to email me, and we'll get to collect those names. Yep.
And voices will be heard through the survey process as well.
Anyone else? No? Thank you very much for being
right,
here,
let's get
Mr.
started.
Kessel.
Thank you.
Okay, next on for discussion. So 5.1, as I sent out to the board, this is just an informational item right now to say that next meeting we'll be receiving a presentation from Bonadio after the audit committee has accepted the independent audit, the external audit, and moved it on to the full board. However, we'll be voting to accept it next meeting as well as having the presentation. So whenever we have to vote on something on the same night that we are receiving it, we want to tell you why, because we try to avoid that. Are there any questions on the external audit, the process that you want to bring up right now? Okay, we'll move on to 5.2, resolution to amend reserves. Again, as I sent out to the board, this, normally we would see this at the end of the fiscal year. These are the numbers that the audit committee votes upon and recommends to the board that we use to replenish our reserves from fund balance money. So it was suggested from the administration that, like all official board actions, it should be in resolution form instead of just in our reserve plan, which is always on the district website. So that is why this is coming up now. And as I also wrote, it's up to these amounts. So that's why they're a little bit higher than the amounts on the reserves plan from last year, because we're taking into account any extra interest that has been earned since that date. Is there any questions? Are there any questions on that item, or in general kind of the cleanup of business office HR practices, which we're very thankful for, Ms. Weil and Mr. Woodcock? Mr. Jones.
No, you just said what I wanted to say, which is a huge thank you to Ms. Weil and Mr. Woodcock. It sounds like you all have been very busy, and just want you to know that we're all very appreciative of the work you're doing, because it sounds like it's been long overdue, and I feel very confident of the direction we're going, thanks to you folks. So thank you so much.
So this will be on for action at the next meeting, unless anyone brings up any objections. Any other questions? No? Okay. We will move forward to number 5.3, superintendent goals. So this was one of the things that I solicited some feedback on, but I thought this was important enough. Maybe we'll take these things a little bit at a time. So we'll start with superintendent goals, then move on to board goals and the evaluation instruments. But as I wrote, Mr. Chapman and I discussed this a little bit, and then Mr. Chapman came with a draft document that he was fine with us passing on to the board and having a discussion. Mr. Chapman, do you want to say anything to introduce this?
Really, this is very much a draft document, just looking to see what you're interested in having me do for goals. Generally, I would like to tie my goals to the board goals to help you meet those. At this point, I'm not quite able to do that. So, any feedback you have, I'd be happy to take, and I can adjust these in any manner we need to.
Mr. Salasso?
Yeah, no, just I guess in response to that, like one of the things I said when we were surveyed was that I very much feel like our goals and your goals need to be in alignment. So any way that we can incorporate a process in which we can develop those simultaneously, I would very much appreciate. So.
And I think that's a good note for the future. This, because of the way the superintendent's contract is written, this process needs to happen sooner than the fall next year. And it's good we're doing it at all. Sometimes it's gone by the wayside. But I think it's, now that we have something in the works, we do it on a timely schedule. I think these goals are also things that we could maybe work into our board goals. It seemed like there was, we can discuss this more, but kind of a open question about what the board goals should be for this year. And I especially liked the way Mr. McKeever had kind of grouped them into 3 different kind of areas. And I had wondered in the past if we should move away from doing what we had done, which is copying the strategic plan and then adding 1 or 2 of our own. I think it's time we move on to our own process and work with Mr. Chapman so that we can kind of align those 2 things. Anything else on the draft goals? If you want any tweaks on anything, please send it in. If not, this would be on for action at the next meeting. And we'll also put on the evaluation instruments and more discussion on board goals for the next meeting. Mr. Salazzo?
Yeah, I guess to put it out there, since we're just a little bit of feedback on it, I would like to see in those goals just something to the effect of shedding a more focused lens in our K-6 operations, reviewing what's occurred since EDU 2020 has been implemented, and maybe potential changes we want to make moving forward.
Right.
So maybe an analysis of Education 2020 impacts in general?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Chilbert?
I just want to, so this particular one isn't going to give any suggestions, because some of them are just so broad. Are we going to narrow them down, funnel through the ideas about looking into improve district culture? That is so big, I kind of want to know.
I think the 2020 one would absolutely be a separate goal to be added on here.
Okay.
And it would fall in line with the strategic planning process. So I think it's a perfect goal to put on.
But is there going to be, like we were just talking with BOCES, they need to be measurable, and are we going to, when do these get more specific? question after our discussions?
They could become more specific. I could add percentages to these.
So I think that's a good discussion to have right now, actually. I sent out in my note that there's kind of two different extremes to this goal planning, and one is entirely too vague that we have no idea what we're talking about, and then on the other side, it's so specific that it's constraining, and it puts us in a place where I'll use the same example. Say we want to move proficiency in ELA from 65 to 75, but we only make it to 72. Then you haven't met the goal. And I think this is our first year. This is Mr. Chapman's first year with us. And I want to give him, and I think we all want to give him, the best opportunity to make progress and to demonstrate progress through these goals, not necessarily to hold him to a specific percentage on such and such certain thing. In the past, the goals have been almost as vague, maybe even a little more vague, and so I'm curious to hear thoughts. Ms. Martin?
Yeah, I hear both sides of it,
Yeah.
and I can see the pros and cons of both. I think for some of these, increasing percentage of students meeting, exceeding, that sounds like something you could potentially measure. Improve district culture and climate. That doesn't really have any piece of measurability in here, so like identifying what would that look like? Would that be improvement on satisfaction surveys, like that kind of stuff?
Relationships.
Yeah.
and-
How would you measure that, and then potentially just say increase that? So like we know what we're looking for and what that looks like. And then the only thing just personally on here that I would like to see something evaluating like our mental health supports and what things are potentially working. Are we seeing an improvement in those interventions that we're using, and how those are sort of being measured, I guess, or tracked building to building.
So maybe we could, on number 3, maybe expand that broad point out into a few smaller points? Is that?
Or just adding something about measuring.
Or adding a whole other? Okay.
No, adding to that same one, because I think it
Oh,
would
okay.
fall under 2, but like adding something that's something that's also being monitored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I'm sorry, Ms. Geider and then Mr. Slazo?
Yeah, I was just, if we were looking, it sounded like you're kind of looking for feedback, and I agree with Kim. Ms. Melnick, sorry. I hear both you and Stacy, and I'm all about SMART goals too. I do think that that's a great goal. I hear what you're saying. I think if you're looking for feedback, I would say, given, like you're saying, first year, I think it might be helpful to keep it a bit more general, because then that gives Mr. Chapman the opportunity to also see what could be more specific. It gives him some time to really look at, what those measurable goals might be moving forward. So I think maybe the goal is to keep it a bit more general this first year, with the intention of becoming a bit more specific as he learns the district and learns. That's just my 2 cents.
Absolutely. I think we've so many years have not had a solid process with superintendent goals that I like the idea of we don't know exactly what we want to measure yet. Exactly. Mr. Slazo?
Yeah, so like one of the things that like I work in change management, and one of the things that we typically do as we're looking at stuff where we want to set a percentage, but we don't exactly know what that goal is going to be, is that you set a kind of like a realistic, easily achievable goal, and then you have stretch goals. So maybe that percentage is kind of like, what's our minimum percentage that we expect to achieve? It's an achievable goal. If we miss it, something's clear. It's an indicator that something's going wrong. But if we exceed it, then it's kind of like, okay, we met our stretch goal. We can set our bar higher for the next year. It gives you a better barometer for, how you're looking at things. So I think if we're going to put set percentages on things, I'd like to see something like that where, here's where we want to target. But here's where we say, like, if we exceed expectations, this is where we land when we hit that mark as well. So I think it kind of gives you that flexibility of giving it some more ambiguity, but also you still have a target that you're trying to achieve.
So this is going to come up again in like April, May, June to revisit for going into the next year. Is that something we could work on in the meantime to kind of get that up to capacity to make that happen?
I would think so.
Okay. Is that okay?
I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
I do believe we need just a little bit more. I understand what's being said down there, but I have faith in you, Mr. Chapman, that you're gonna be able to set us on fire. I don't think you need the full year to be able to do what you gotta do here. So I think that should be a little bit of a challenge. No, we're gonna challenge everybody in the district, us included, to make sure that we are representing everybody in the district. And, I'm thinking of the kids. I do want measurable goals, because I do want children learning and exceeding far before. I'm just thinking of that last report, and I was just still a little stunned. So as soon as Mr., he can check into that and see what our numbers are, but I'm looking forward to more discussion about this.
Yeah, I think SMART goals is definitely the ultimate, the location we're going, right? I think like the strategic plan document, this should be maybe a living document for us for the rest of the year that we can check in on a little more. So it's not, the evaluation, it kind of feels like, 6 months has gone by, now we're revisiting this document. Instead, maybe going through it a little more often. Mr. Chapman, sorry to.
No, I appreciate the feedback. This is very much, for me, a jumping off point, just to see really what you're looking for. So this feedback's very good. And, we can tweak it any way we want this year, more specific, more broad. It really, I'm up to whatever you're looking for. And then next year, I hope we can dovetail it, my goals with the board goals. That's really where I want to head. Okay.
Yeah. And I think, Ms. Martin, you kind of alluded to it, that sometimes a form is not the best way to get feedback on something like this. I think this was a good way to get some feedback. Anything else on this right now? Okay, so I think we'll go back and, Mr. Chapman, you tell me if this is okay, do some tweaks on that document, maybe send that out by the end of the week, probably, and then revisit at our next meeting. Is that all right with everybody? Okay, great. Let me sign back in here. Okay. Next on the agenda is 6.1, public communications. I don't have any blue sheets. 6.2, board communications. I think I started down there last time, so I'll start with Mr. McKeever tonight.
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McKeever. Ms. Melnick? Thank you, Ms. Melnick. Ms. Chilbert?
Just quick, I wanted to thank the liaisons for meeting with us during school. It was a great conversation, so kudos to you. It's already been said, but I just wanted to reiterate it. It was a great conversation. And my highlight was you don't know how many times I've told the wristwatch story to people that I know in different districts. So that was a great talk, and just in the halls, how you guys are moving easier and not bumping into each other. I thought that was great. The club fair, very excited about that. A couple of years ago when I first started on the board, that was one of our things that we had talked about. So that's very exciting that you're doing that. Excited for the strategic plan. That was a great presentation. Russell already left, but I'm looking forward to those executive summaries. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that reached out from the passing of my mom. I did hear that the board, secondhand, I heard that the board did send something in. I just had no idea about it until someone told me. So I just wanted to make sure I said thank you to all of you guys for the donation. And that's it. Looking forward to a great year. It's been so smooth already it. Just hoping we last and we have a wonderful year.
Thank you, Ms. Chilbert. Ms. Brissette?
Mine's real quick. I just want to say thank you to Miss Massett. You have answered my emails quicker. I know that I've been a little bit extra, the last couple of weeks. So thank you for going above and beyond. I know there's 9 of us, so thank you.
Did you just call yourself extra? Okay. Mr. Jones.
I'm all set.
Mr. Salazzo. Ms. Martin. Ms. Geider.
I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to Elmcrest, and I apologize to her already in advance because I'm probably going to butcher her name, Mrs. Korzip. Am I saying that? Okay, good. I got it right. I got to visit Elmcrest this past week, and it was really, really lovely. I've never actually been inside of the kind of like little pod areas that they have and stuff. When you talk about, if you could envision your child going there, that is where my child is supposed to go. And it was a great feeling to be inside the building. I visited on day 10 of school, and I was amazed at how smoothly everything is running already. Everybody just like all hands were on deck, and the culture there, it's just so tangible how much everyone loves and cares for these kids and really wants the best for them. So it was really great. I'm always a believer in sharing, the rooms for improvement too. And it was shared with me that the new SPED programs, there's so many benefits, and there's some things that they're really loving seeing because Elmcrest is hosting some of our new SPED programs. But I also have heard that there's some areas that, of course, as we would expect from new programs, some discussion. So I'm looking forward to being able to continue those conversations as the school year goes on. Just sounds like figuring out how we can work within our budget to get kids what they need and the placements that they need, which we know is the biggest struggle. So I'm really looking forward to the BAT team. And I know we're about to vote on the budget calendar, getting started early so we can really have those conversations and make sure we're getting students exactly what they need, where they need it. And then I wanted to just say I loved hearing about the benefits of the phones in the Yonder pouches. And I'm also really looking forward to the marching band home show this weekend that I can finally go and see. So I've been looking forward to that, and I am very excited.
And of course, we love to celebrate all the good things that are going on. And so I just want to say, I've heard specifically about our new special education teachers, that they really have hit the ground running. And I heard specifically from Morgan Road Elementary folks who said that they are so pleased with their newest special education teachers. So as we all know, that job is huge. And it's hard to recruit for good people for those positions. So we appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Anyone else have anything? No? 7.1, 2026 through 2027 budget calendar. This is on for action 7.1. Do I have a motion? Motion by Ms. Brissette, second by Ms. Martin. Any discussion? We discussed this last meeting. As we said, this is ongoing process of kind of cleaning up budget lines. And I know Ms. Chilbert and others are really happy that we have gotten this process underway so early this year. Okay, all those in favor? All hands are raised. Thank you. 7.2, SEIU Memorandum of Agreement. Is there a motion to approve the Memorandum of Agreement between the Service Employees International Union and the Liverpool School District, Central School District as presented? Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Ms. Melnick. Any discussion? Ms. Brissette?
I know that we just settled the contract. Are we anticipating more of these MOAs coming down the pipeline?
Mr. Woodcock, we're still cleaning up some contract language with Alpha. What else do we have out there?
With regards to, so every time we settle the contract, there are a lot of pages and people start utilizing it, right? So things pop up occasionally, but obviously it's the goal not to have updates, but whenever these things pop up, the right thing to do is to fix them. So we are trying to go through right now with Alpha, working on the process of harmonizing the agreement. So we are clarifying with council what we can just clarify with all of you in memos to you, just so everybody sees exactly kind of what that process looks like, and that what requires an actual MOA of agreement, especially if it's related to, like, for example, this is financially related, so it's compensation. So we can't do the compensation without a formal agreement. But we're, Mr. Chapman and I are totally committed to just making sure the board's updated on anything that comes up or pops up with regards to language but as people start to use the written agreements, things do come up, and that's what, Mr. Fennell, myself, and then, Mr. Del Bracco, that's what we spend time talking through.
We don't anticipate a lot coming down. No. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor? All hands are raised. Thank you. Announcements 8.1, October 6th, we have a Board of Education meeting, 6 p.m., District Office. October 20th, Board of Education meeting, 6 p.m., District Office. 9.1, do I have a motion to enter into executive session to receive legal updates from District Council and discuss ongoing litigation, to review the employment history of a particular employee, and to review FERPA-protected student information? Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Jones, second by Ms. Brissette. Any discussion? All those in favor? All hands are raised. Thank you. We will take about 5 minutes, and then we will be down in room 18. Thank you. Okay, the time is now 8:10 p.m. Do I have a motion to return back into open session? Motion by Ms. Geider, second by Ms. Martin. Any discussion? All those in favor? All hands are raised. Thank you. Seeing no further business, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Motion by Mr. Jones, second by Ms. Brissette. Any discussion? All those in favor? All hands are raised. Thank you. Meeting adjourned, 8:10 p.m.